Hello friends, my name is Julia and today I'm making an art journal page with extra everything. I'm creating it as a tribute and a present to my friend Linda, and I will start this video by showing you some of the things she gave me for my birthday. We both love the art by Marlene, and I especially like the Artsy Arabia collection. So the first present was a set of lanterns that I love, and then these gorgeous houses in this stamp set. Next up are the whimsical and magical flowers, and the set with a camel and a few images that remind me of Aladdin. Then she gave me these two stencils, and I love that there are more than one pattern on each stencil. And last but not least, she gave me this all and create kid playing video games that I can use for my kids and others. This video is quite long because I changed my mind halfway in, but that is for later. Now I'm tracing my Dylusions diary block to get that curved edge I want. After cutting it with scissors, I bring out a whole sheet of Dylusions paper and a few spray inks. I want an evening sky in the desert, so I'm using desert sand, bubblegum pink and crushed grapes for the background. I'm spraying with water and then I spray desert sand at the bottom, bubblegum pink in the middle and crushed grapes at the top. And then I take my cut papers and place it on all that ink and smoosh them together with my kitchen roll. And now I have all I need to make an Artsy Arabia evening scene. Oh, that's right, I need to color both sides of the cut paper because it's going to be a flap that opens, so I spray the other side with desert sand and bubblegum pink. To attach the flap, I use washi tape and multi-matte medium to secure it because washi was made to come off and I need this to stay put. I use a brush to apply the multi-matte medium and then I place the tape and seal it by brushing that multi-matte medium over it. And then I bring out a stencil with circles from Letter It and trace those circles with a pencil. Then I use my blade to cut all those circles out. Now I have my flap that is see-through, and here is where I actually went wrong. I had to change it later on. I use a silver marker to trace those circles and doodle some frames. That didn't come out like I wanted it, and the flap is from the bottom, so the page becomes more unstable, and I will make this better. But first, let's stamp some magical houses. Because these are new stamps, I use a trick to condition them. I ink them up with Versamark sticky embossing ink, and then I move on to archival black soot and stamp a few times to get a good crisp image. And while I have my stamps in position, I stamp again to have options. One of my favorite parts of doing this is coloring these houses, and I bring out both my Gansai Tambi watercolors in pearl and metallics, and the Distress Oxide Inks and regular ink. I switch between the colors to get those magical, colorful houses. My method for coloring these images is the same no matter what I use. I put dark color where I want my shadows and drag the color out with water. Now, let me say a few words to my friend Linda, who gave me these stamps and so much more. Thank you for giving so generously of supplies and inspiration, and I hope this project, your project, will bring you some joy. I left a lot of coloring in this time because the coloring was so much fun, and the happy colorful houses are exactly what I want, and I give myself permission to use many colors and not think too much of what goes together. I just love how right it feels to put green, yellow, purple and blue together. When I have all my houses colored, fussy cut, and I've used a black marker to go around them, I move on to another part of this project. I have these plain tissue papers, and I want to stamp one of Art by Marlene's big rubber stamp flowers on it for later, and I stamp in archival black ink. When I feel something isn't working, I usually walk away and come back with an idea of how to save it. But not this time. I didn't like the construction of it, so I cut the old flap off and made 2 new flaps that would work as gates for my scene. After going over all of my stencils, this one from Tim Holtz made the most sense. And I do as I have done before. I trace the stencil onto my gates with a pencil. Then I bring out my blade and cut the whole pattern out. It's time to give these 2 flaps some color, and I use the 3 from before, Bubblegum Pink, Crushed Grapes and Desert Sand, and I let the ink drip down, giving my doors texture. And when the color is there, I spray a shimmer spray in Bubblegum Pink over top. Now, let's move on to the background. I know Linda likes purple and snowflakes, and these snowflakes from Colorado Craft Company looks like they could be mandalas, so I decide to heat emboss them on my sky in Wow's embossing powder, Himalayan musk. I treat my background with my anti-static bag and stamp them with Versamark embossing ink and cover them in Himalayan musk and heat set them with my heat tool until melted and shiny. I do the other side the same, and look how beautiful these mandala snowflakes are. So next I want to create a sunset, and I use Distress Oxide ink in mustard seed and a brush to add some yellow. But more than that, I need that ink there to be able to brush on perfect pearls in sunflower yellow and have the ink grab onto it. And my plan is to have that flower as a sun. My doors are dry now on one side, and I spray the other side the same, except for changing Desert Storm out for pure sunshine. It's time for some details, and I stamp a lot of palm trees, the camel, the world, flowers, and a few of the genie lamps. After painting the lamps and their small details, I color the world using Distress Oxide Inks in mowed lawn and rustic wilderness for the land and salty ocean and tumbled glass for the water. I color every other palm tree because I intend to stack them together for dimension. For the camel, and before you ask, of course, the camel is purple and pink, and I use the same inks as I did for the background, but this time I spray them on my surface and pick up color with a brush. I use my Gansai Tambi metallic watercolors to make the details on the camel pop. So, back to the world. I have 4 of those hearts cut out and I stack them on each other with a pink heart at the top, using glue and some tweezers. I use the same technique for the palm trees. I stack a colored tree on a white tree, making them have more dimension and be more durable. Okay, so I couldn't stick to the plan, and now I have a tag that will be a cool element on my page. And I spray the tag with pure sunshine, bubblegum pink and crushed grapes. The next details are some dragonflies I found in this old paper pad. They are cut out, so I just pop them out, but I don't want that white border around them or the color, so I aim to fix it. I fussy cut those dragonflies and hold them up so you can see the enormous change. But I want these dragonflies in silver, so I bring out a silver embossing powder and an embossing dauber. I dab on the clear sticky ink, cover the dragonfly in silver embossing powder, and I do that to all the dragonflies before I melt that powder. And I do it twice for that texture on the dragonflies. Use what you have and change it if you have to, is how my brain works anyway. So now I have this tag and I want it on the page, and I want that big mandala in the corner to continue on the tag, making it fit in more. I put the background in my stamping platform and position the mandala right before I protect what's under with paper and stamp over the tag, and use that Himalayan musk embossing powder from Wow and melt it. I want the tag to be able to be pulled up and have a secret message there, so I score it to create a hinge, and then I glue down the tag and line it up with that big mandala. It's time for my doors to get some love, and in my case it usually means that I darken the edges. I use a black soot distress crayon and scribble it on the edges and in some of the holes to frame and give it some grunge. I do the same thing to the whole background and on the tag, defining the tag and framing my scene. There, so much better. I use the same technique for putting the doors on the background as I did for the first flap. I brush on multi-matte medium, put down the tape and seal it all with more multi-matte medium. And I do it on both sides to have a sturdy composition. It's now time for my tissue paper flower to become the sun, and I use Dina Wakley's soft gel medium and I brush it on where I want my sun, and then I put my flower down and seal it with more soft gel medium. Next, I bring out my embossing pen with sticky ink and scribble lines around the flower, and then I brush on that same sunflower yellow perfect pearl powder. I use Bubblegum pink ink spray and a brush to get some color on the hinges of my gate. And now it's finally time to decorate the doors, and I glue down the camel, the dragonflies and the genie lamps. Then I feel I need some flowers, and I stamp a lot of flowers and color them the same way as I did the houses, with a combination of Distress Oxide Inks and Gansai Tambi watercolors. I use Distress Oxide Inks in picked raspberries, wilted violet, peacock feathers, mustard seeds and cracked pistachio. Using the same techniques as on the houses, putting down most color where I want my shadows and dragging it out with water. And when the flowers are colored, it's time for what I find difficult: hanging a few ribbons, tassels and pearls on that tag. It's not my forte. Now it's time to decorate the inside and to glue down houses, palm trees and flowers. I want the houses to continue over my tag, but still be able to open it, so I spend some time making sure how to open the tag and still have a whole row of houses. I expand my row of houses to the inside of the doors and paint in the white showing through from the decorations on the outside of the door with watercolor in gold. When all my houses and decorations are in place, I use a white gel pen to add some white to my flower sticking up over the rooftops. I placed the globe on the tag, thinking of my dear friend Linda on the other side of the world. Then I cut up and add 2 big flowers, cutting them apart so the doors can be opened easy, even with those big flowers there. The last thing I do is to make sure the page can stand on its own, and now my mixed media art journaling pages as a thank you to my friend Linda are finished, using almost only supplies she gave me, and I'm so grateful to have her as a friend. I hope you feel inspired and will pop by soon again. You never know what I will be up to. Until the next time. See you soon.